Real-world audio recordings and subject matter that some viewers may find disturbing. Chat, okay, I want to warn you guys, disturbing. I know all of you are very sensitive to disturbing things because one of my most recent videos of dogs ripping apart a woman is now #1 of my past 10 videos because you guys apparently are obsessed with disgusting. Are you serious? Yes! It's doing really well. That's so weird. What is wrong with you guys? You know what? It's a Nexpo video. I don't think I'll need captions because he normally puts them when it's hard to hear. So.
Aboard a Japanese passenger flight on the 12th of August 1985, an alarm begins to sound. Unbeknownst to the pilots, the plane had just undergone a rapid decompression, leaving them scrambling to get the aircraft under control. Over and over, they attempt to maneuver the plane back home. However, nothing they try seems to work. The airplane is completely unresponsive, yet the over 500 passengers on it have no idea just how dire their situation truly is. On this aircraft, a structural component has undergone a catastrophic failure. A failure caused by a near-decade-long oversight, and a failure that would lead to what is now known as the single worst disaster in global aviation history.
Wait, how have I not heard of this then? I don't think I've ever even heard of this.
Tonight's video is sponsored by Incogni.
Wait.
As we move towards an increasingly...
Okay, potentially I've heard of this. I don't want to spoil it. I don't want to say what I think is going to happen, but...
interconnected world, the idea of online privacy becomes more and more imperative. Every day, data brokers are scraping data. Now
all right.
Let's get to it.
We got a... Here's the code right here, chat. Check it out. 60% off Incogni. I assume it's like an internet security thing.
It's
Come on,
Monday.
Pig, this is your job. You have to know everything. Yeah, but I want you guys to enjoy the video. I don't want to guess it and then be right. And then at the end, you're like, well, shit. Now I knew that was going to happen.
Delta Flight 191 is under investigation after a tragic accident. A string of unsolved murders grips a small town in Washington.
Wait, murders?
And
wait, what? I thought it was about a plane.
It's rush hour.
What? Rush hour do be scary.
It's
fun when you guess things. Fine. Cannibalism. All right. That's it. That's all I'll say. All right. If it's the one I'm thinking of, potentially cannibalism.
A Japanese tradition in which they honor their fallen ancestors, and thousands are scrambling through Haneda Airport to get home to their families. At 6 p.m., Japan Airlines Flight 123 prepares for its 5th flight of the day. This one is full, traveling from Tokyo to Osaka a little under an hour away. On this day, 49-year-old Captain Masamu Takahama is training his co-pilot, 39-year-old Yutaka Sasaki, in a Boeing 747. The two are joined by a 46-year-old flight engineer named Hiroshi Fukuda in the cockpit, and 521 others awaiting this trip in the flight's main cabin. In every sense, this flight is entirely routine. All is going to plan, and they're just a few minutes behind schedule.
Everything was going well until it wasn't.
Japan Airlines Flight 123 takes off at 6:12 p.m. And as the aircraft powers through the clouds, the passengers look out of their windows to a Tokyo.
How do you
fading.
How do you know?
You should kill yourself.
How do you know? How do you know? Why is that so loud? Jesus Christ, why is it so loud? How did he know, chat? Was he on it? Maybe they were looking at a different city. Were there
12
any
minutes in,
snakes
and
on
they're
this
nearing the
particular
cruising
plane?
altitude of 24,000 feet. And just as everyone's getting settled in,
Oh, it's not that one? Okay, never mind. It's not the cannibal one, chat.
at 6:25 p.m., there's a deafening bang to the rear as the bathroom ceiling collapses. A blinding white light flashes. The water vapor in the air condenses to a fog, and the oxygen masks fall in front of disoriented passengers. All of this happens in a matter of seconds, sending everyone on board into an unbridled panic.
You should kill yourself.
What else do you want to do? This is an emergency.
That would be a really bad time to do it. Wait. I mean, technically, would it be? Technically, it would be a good time to do it, right? It would save you from like the panic and fear of like slowly descending into your death if you just like off yourself. Yeah, you guys ever think about that? Like, think about it. If you're in like a situation where you're guaranteed to die, and you're like, well, shit, if I just wait it out and die this way, it's gonna be like suffering and pain. But if I just off myself right now, you know, it won't be that bad. But how would you do it? Well, if I had a gun, you know, wouldn't that be like the quickest and easiest way to go, right? Just a quick little bop, you're gone. I mean, I'm sure you'd like, unless you miss. I mean, I don't know how you'd miss, but unless you miss. Don't miss. Chapter. So you're the type to log out after an apocalypse starts? No, I'm talking like there's a situation where you're guaranteed, like if you are plummeting to Earth, right? From a plane, or say like there's a zombie apocalypse, right? And that you are absolutely surrounded by 100 zombies and cornered. There's nowhere to go. Yeah, I'd off myself, but hell no. If there's an apocalypse, I'm gonna be that badass, right? That goes around and has like a bandana on his head and like with 2 AK-47s walking around and shit, just shooting all the zombies. Dude, I would do so well in an apocalypse, all right? That's not what I'm talking. I'm talking about like a very specific situation where there's no way out. You know? There would be no Wi-Fi though. You know, true. I'll off myself.
The crew begins to realize that the plane has become uncontrollable. After being granted permission to return to Haneda Airport, Captain Takahama panics, questioning why First Officer Sasaki is banking so much in one direction. He commands for him to ease up. However, all inputs performed by them are unresponsive. As it turns out, all 4 hydraulic lines leading to the plane's wings are severed, and unbeknownst to them, their vertical stabilizer is completely destroyed.
Oh shit.
This plane is flying with no means of stability, and with that, their task of regaining control to land back home safely is borderline unthinkable. Inside the main cabin, a passenger takes one single photo, in which we can observe the oxygen masks fully engaged.
Oh, that is
Unfortunately,
creepy.
the supply is extremely limited, only meant to last long enough for the pilots to descend to a breathable altitude. What they were unaware of, though, was that the plane found itself stuck in what's known as a phugoid cycle, leaving the crew unable to control their descent, and, in a way, unable to descend at all. Over and over, the craft nosedives thousands of feet and rapidly picks up speed before the nose naturally begins to point up, recovering the lost altitude and stalling. It again dives, ascends, dives, and ascends, all while banking at angles of up to 40 degrees in either direction.
Oh God, that would
By
be
now,
awful.
the crew is doing everything they can to make their way back to Haneda Airport for an emergency landing, yet the aircraft is doing everything it can to prevent that.
I would really hope to be knocked out during all this. See what I'm talking? Yeah. I would hate this. Someone just fucking knock me out. Get me out of this shit. I'd jump out of the plane. Maybe not. I wouldn't jump out of the plane because, you know, that potential of not
oxygen masks.
Dying. No, yeah, no. I think I would be guaranteed, like, yeah, we're fucked.
The phugoid cycle is problem number one, yet posing another threat is the ever-encroaching side-to-side roll of the aircraft. To mitigate this, the crew manages to engage the landing gear, effectively suppressing the phugoid cycle. However, over the course of the next 5 minutes, the plane descends over 10,000 feet while rolling at an angle of over 40 degrees. Effectively, they achieve a complete 360-degree downward spiral over the town of Batsuki, and are understandably losing hope as every critical second bleeds by.
All you have to do is just not put the oxygen mask on? Good point, actually. God, I can't imagine how fucking panicked they are right now. Good? Okay, chat, you need to understand something about planes. Y'all are like, oh, this is why I go on trains. This is why I don't fly a plane. Guys, there is a reason why, like, plane crashes are so terrifying. It's because they never happen. They're so rare. The reason why they're so covered and so talked about is because the rarity of them and how crazy it is for it to happen, right? It never happens, like, ever. Like, it is the rarest thing to ever happen. Pig, move your head, please. Oh, shit, my bad. My bad. Shit, fuck. Sorry. Imagine if there were regular plane crash videos to watch. Yeah, that would be scary. Yeah, imagine we like my channel was just watching plane crash videos instead of car crash videos. Idiots and planes.
They are now heading opposite of Haneda Airport and straight towards Mount Takamagahara. Over the next 5 minutes, the crew fights to gain altitude to move away from this impending threat and manages to climb again to 11,000 feet. False hope this is, however, as they find themselves in yet another downward spiral.
Oh, God.
This time, right over treacherous terrain.
I would shit my pants in this situation. I mean, yeah, after you die, you normally shit your pants, don't you? Right? That's like a normal thing, right? If you got some dumpy in there, you like excrete your dumpies. Go to the upper left. Oh, shit. Oh. Is that the plane? Or is that a helicopter?
In the quaint village of Ueno, nestled in the mountainside, residents awaken to a lingering odor. In the air, rescue and news helicopters zoom by as they discern something the locals don't.
Okay, helicopter.
On the ground, rows of trucks and buses are on the move, while crowds gather and gaze in utter confusion. Yet, amidst all of this, hardly anyone knew the gravity of what was happening. 21 miles southwest of their location, the remains of Japan Airlines Flight 123 are burning
Holy shit.
and are scattered across the mountainside. The plane is completely shredded. The landscape, wounded.
Oh my
To
god.
say that this scene was grim is a criminal understatement. Out of the 524 passengers on board that night, only 4 survived. This was the
Holy
worst
shit.
loss of life involving a single aircraft in the history of aviation. This incident is devastating.
Honestly, I'm surprised anyone survived that.
The most frustrating aspect of all of this is that it did not have to turn out this way at all. You see, just 20 minutes
I'd
after
survive
impact,
that easy?
a US
Yeah,
Air Force
same.
serviceman named Michael Antonucci spotted and phoned in the crash location. However, instead of making the call to lend support immediately, the Japanese military called off the rescue operation under the presumption that not a single passenger survived. For over 12 hours, the plane burned throughout the night. A handful still alive and awaiting help from numerous aircraft that passed right above them.
Or
Aircraft
people
that
live
saw
through
them,
this shit?
Yet they were completely unaware that help was never coming. One of the 4 survivors.
Wait, you're telling me I guarantee more people would have survived then. I guarantee more people would have survived.
Yumi Ochiai later recalled their experience from that evening, explaining how throughout the night they could hear children crying, adults
Oh
screaming.
no.
It was loud at first, yet as the hours went by,
Oh
these
no.
pleas slowly faded into silence. Some fell out of consciousness, some lost the energy to continue, but for the vast majority, this stillness signaled the agonizing death of lives that could have been helped.
Oh my
It
god.
took 12 hours in total for rescuers to arrive, yet by
12
then, the scene
hours.
was a gruesome graveyard. A Japanese medical doctor stated that had this rescue come 10 hours earlier, perhaps they would have found more survivors. But it was silent.
You know the survivors have survivor guilt? Oh, hell yeah. I couldn't imagine.
In the years following the incident, no one would fly Japan Air, resulting in the company taking a massive hit in revenue. With this, both the airline and the Boeing company would pay out hundreds of millions of dollars to the victims' families over time, a reparation immaterial in the grand scheme of this tragedy. Even then, however, guilt festered in the minds of Japan Air employees as 2 of them, a 59-year-old maintenance official named Hiru Tominaga and a 57-year-old inspector named Susumu Tajima, would later take their own lives, with the former leaving a note with just a single phrase: "I am atoning with my death."
Oh no. Well, you
In the
called
end,
it.
Investigators attributed the tragedy to
Yep.
improper repairs.
You guys
to the
called
plane's
it.
aft pressure bulkhead, the rear component of the
I'd say
pressure seal
that's
present
some pretty
in all aircraft.
pretty strong survivors
It was
guilt.
learned that 7 years prior, the same aircraft encountered a tail strike incident during a landing, cracking the bulkhead and rendering the plane unflyable. During repair, the engineers planned to utilize a large splice plate to connect the 2 sides of the crack, while reinforcing it with 3 rows of solid rivets. When done correctly, this would re-establish the full structural integrity of the wall, rendering it just as safe as it was before for flight.
Wouldn't that just be
In
duct
reality,
tape?
however,
They're
the
basically
repair
duct
did
taping
not
it.
go this way at all. Instead of using 1 splice plate, Boeing's repair technicians used 2 in parallel to the crack, effectively rendering 1 entire section of rivets completely useless.
Oh goody.
This oversight was never discovered, and the plane flew in this condition over 12,000 times.
Oh my god. Dude, that's that's so. I mean, I get it. It's like, you know, was it the 80s or whatever? But damn, the oversights back then is ridiculous. Oh wait, it's Boeing Mechanics. Yeah, fuck that company, dude. Don't they just do everything in their power, like just to cut corners in order just to get more customers and more people travel? Like, who gives a shit? You know, I'm sure it'll make it.
This tragedy echoes through the lives of everyone involved and is one of the most unspeakable catastrophes that should have been prevented. It's hard to grasp the sheer horror of experiencing a plane crash, let alone surviving it. Those who did had to endure a trauma and a loss that is unimaginable. The agonizing moments afterward, crushed under wreckage, helpless under the night sky, effectively forgotten in a blazing wilderness. I feel horrible for everyone on board that fateful night, and for the families and friends that were eagerly waiting for them. Oben is typically a time of communion, an annual reconnection with seldom seen loved ones. But for the 520 victims who lost their lives that night, they were never able to finish their journey to see them. Their families awaited those that would never show, and their memory is forever stained by an incident that never should have happened. That night, there was nothing anyone could have done. No way they could have known. But in the wake of it all, one thing
I'm gonna go on a plane in 4 days. Good luck.
Their memory, their lives.
Hope I don't see you on the news. Okay,
those
no, I'm not trying to freak you out even more.
that loved them, and their legacy will forever endure until the end of time.
Never flying? Dude, chat, don't not fly just because of flying it. Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, this is the fucking 80s, man. This is the 80s. Like, this is, it's, I mean, I'm not saying it's way better now, but it's definitely a lot better now than it used to be when it comes to that shit.
Now it's time to walk away. I hope you enjoyed your stay. Did you laugh or cry or maybe subscribed? I'll thank you either way. You know I will miss you. I hope you return. Tell your friend or your mother to get me more views, please.